In this episode, we are going to talk about my husband's socks that I have finished, pants that I sewed, my fluffy blanket that I am knitting on, and 3 new projects that you haven't seen before. Let's get started. Good day everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mariette, also known as die Boervrou, and this is episode 36 of the Crafty Stitches Podcast. Today is the 8th of May 2023 when I'm recording this, and I'm coming to you from South Africa. We had some rain the past few days, and yeah, it is not uncommon to have rain in May, but not usually this much. But anyway, so I've been enjoying the rainy weather, and I'm wearing my Beekeeper Cardigan because it is a little bit chilly this morning. So I will link the Beekeeper Cardigan's project page for you down below if you're interested. Yeah, I really love this cardigan, and maybe one day I'll make another one. I am thinking, however, that my sleeves are a little bit too short. I do have some yarn to fix that, but I haven't decided yet exactly what I want to do because I think they're also a little bit big. But anyway, I will still figure that out. In the meantime, I'm anyways wearing this one because I love it regardless of the sleeve length. Alright, so let's jump straight into this episode. I have quite a few things to share with you. I have 3 new cast-ons, and yeah, let's get into it. My first finished project for this episode is the socks that I've been making for my husband. In the previous episode, I was at this point here where that little stitch marker is from Annegret from Pincushion Crafts. And in the meantime, I have finished the foot. I did the heel flap and gusset, and I finished the leg. So this pair is now done, and I can actually give them to my husband because they have been washed and blocked and the ends have been trimmed and everything. These socks are made with my own pattern, the DB toe-up socks, and I have been using a 2.25mm needle. I've knit these on 9-inch circulars, and I've used the Regia 4-ply yarn for this pair in the color 07709, and Arthur Bale's website stated that this is called Snowflake. So that is the color label. It is a 75% virgin wool and 25% polyamide blend, and it has 420 meters on 100 grams. Really like this yarn a lot. And yes, 1 pair of socks off the needles, and I haven't cast on a new pair yet. I do have plans, but I haven't cast on a new pair yet because I have a lot of projects at this moment, so I don't think at this moment I need a pair of socks, but very soon. Right, that is the socks that I've been working on. That is finished. Right, I do have another finished object. I will see if I can put in some pictures maybe here for you, or a piece of B-roll. I actually finished some pants for myself that was cut out and left in my sewing bin for quite a few years. Surprised that it actually fits, but never mind. So I went through this bin on, I don't know, last week somewhere, and I pulled out this pattern, this pants that was already cut out. I've already overlocked all of the pieces. So I just basically went in and sewed the thing together, and now I have some pants. So I'm very excited. I do have some more that is lying here waiting for me, so there might be more sewing projects coming in the future. Anyways, I don't really have much details on these pants because it is a short pattern that I lengthened the legs of, and I have no notes. I have no idea how I made these pants, how I got to these pattern pieces, but anyway, it was already cut out, so I just made a plan and sewed it together. I couldn't find any pattern pieces with the pants, so I do know that it comes from a certain short pattern, but I don't know what I did. It's been 7 or 8 years ago, so I don't know. At least the pants fit. Right, so let's move on to what is on my needles and my hook and talk about my works in progress. Right, so one of my works in progress, the sleeveless jacket, I haven't actually touched, so I'm not going to show it. But I did work on my blanket in the past 2 weeks and a bit. So let me show you that. It has grown a bit. I am making this blanket with some fluffy, feathery eyelash yarn. I don't know what it's called. And this is the yarn label. And it is 100% polyester. And it has no meterage 2 grams on the label. So, who knows? Anyway, in the previous episode, I was at that little stitch marker that I'm using as a progress keeper from Itsy Klein. And this is the progress that I've made over the past 2 weeks and a bit. So I'm very happy about that. I'm really in love with these colors, and I have been enjoying this project quite a bit because I really didn't have to think while knitting this. So very happy. I'm knitting these on 5mm needles, US 8 Taigu needles. So I am adding a I-cord border to this. Even though you can't see it, it just gives it that little bit of strength. And I think that is all that I have to say for this project. And I'm enjoying it very much. So we shall see how much more progress I can make on this one, because I am a bit busy with other things that is stealing my attention. But I will show you in the next episode if I made any progress on that one. I do have got quite a ways to go. All right. I think that is all of the projects that I have shown you before, and I have talked about this one before, but I don't think I've shown the project. I might have shown the swatch. I'm not exactly sure, but I didn't bring the swatch. So this is my Stonecrop Cardi by Andrea Mowry, and I have dyed the yarn for this project in this beautiful lilac color. Well, the dye pot said that this is lilac. But anyway, so that is my purple yarn that I'm using for a main color. There comes the thunder again. And I'm just using a plain undyed yarn for the contrast color. So it is a 75% superwash merino yarn and 25% nylon blend, so it's a sock yarn. And this is how far I am at this moment. only did the first band of color work, I would say. So this project will be sticked in between these lines here in the front. And I don't know, we shall see when I get to that how I do that, but for now I'm enjoying the project. I almost gave up on this one. It was very close, and yeah, I kept making silly mistakes. There's been quite some things happening the past 2 weeks, and I don't know, my headspace and focus was not on the right place. So I really battled with it in the beginning, not because of the pattern, because I didn't focus, I counted incorrectly, I did the increases incorrectly. I think I did the first set of increases 4 times, not joking. And yeah, every time when I think back and I did it again, it came out right in the end. So there's nothing wrong with the pattern, it is just me not focusing. But anyway, so I did the first little bubble round there, and then the first color work part. I also did some short row shaping in the neckband. If you look at the front of the neckband's length towards the back, I did some short rows in the ribbing, and I think that came out okay. And then I also did the short rows that is in the pattern. I'm knitting this on 3.5mm needles, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 3.5mm US 4. And let's not talk about gauge, because this project's gauge swatch still does not make sense, because I knit the gauge swatch and I measured it and I washed and blocked it, and then I had more stitches in 10 centimeters than I had before. So found a few friends and we decided that I must have mismeasured, but I don't know. My plan is to make sure that this is going to fit me. I'm going to knit a bit more until maybe the yoke is finished, before I have to split for the sleeves and the body. And then maybe I'll put this on barber cords and wash and block it and make sure that it fits, because if it's snipped, it's snipped. So I will do that, maybe wash and block or steam it, but I'm continuing at this moment, and I am starting to fall in love with it again after all of the mistakes that I made. So I'm looking forward to see how this is going to come out. I am planning on trying to do some A-line shaping in the body. Thunder. I did speak to Adela from the Yarn Creations podcast about adding A-line shaping and things, and she gave me some tips, so I will be trying that definitely. And now my dog is very upset about the thunder. Just give me a moment. So, okay, come. Come. Fluffy. Okay, all right. There we go. Oh, okay, all right. You sit on the lap. There we go. Alrighty. Are you up? Okay. So I am knitting the Stonecrop Cardi as part of Michelle from Happy Every Yarn's colorwork make-along that she's hosting, I think until the end of October. I'll pop the hashtag on the screen, and then you can check that out on Instagram. And I'm sure if you want to join, there is still heaps of time, so you can just send her a DM on Instagram, and I'm sure she will be able to add you to the group. Alright, so that is my color work project. Then in the previous episode I mentioned that I bought this yarn from Big Fox Yarn because I want to make my sister-in-law some fingerless gloves. So I asked her if she would like some gloves. I made her husband a pair of socks. So I've asked her if she would like some gloves, and she said she would like some fingerless gloves. And then I bought the yarn that she chose and started the gloves. So first I just used some undyed yarn and I made samples. So I started with this one and I made this, and it was just a bit too small for my hand. It is a bit too tight, and yeah, I put it on hold because I didn't know if her hands is the same size as me. I didn't measure before I started my samples. And then I made this little sample, and this one actually fits me. And I thought, okay, if it doesn't fit her, then at least there's another size. So this one actually fits me. There is a few mistakes on my sample, but I fixed that in the end. And funnily enough, our hands are exactly the same size. So those are my two samples that I knitted, explaining some knitting time. And then I actually knitted the fingerless glove. So I bought this yarn from Little Yarn Craft, and it is, as I said, Big Fox yarn. It is a 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, 3-ply sock, and it has approximately 366 meters on the 100 grams. And this colorway is called Cherry Chocolate. There we go. And this is what it looks like in the cake. Lots of yarns everywhere. And this is the right hand fingerless mitten, basically. It is a mitten. No, it's a fingerless glove. Getting confused on gloves and mittens. As I understand it, gloves has got separate fingers, even if they are cut off, and mittens has got just like one piece for all 4 fingers. So this is fingerless gloves, and this is what it looks like on my hand. I asked my sister-in-law if she wants longer fingers, and she said no, she wants this shorter fingers. So that is what I made, and I think it came out beautifully. Really happy with this. So I did some twisted rib, just the knit stitches are twisted. So what is that, half twisted rib? I'm not sure, but I did some twisted rib, 1x1 rib, and the same for the little fingers there, and I think it came out beautifully. So this is the right hand one, and then I also started the left hand one. My yarn all tangled up, and I just finished the ribbing, and I am onto the hand portion for this one. Let me add a little stitch marker to this. My little beautiful birdie from Annegret from Pincushion Crafts. Really like that. Oh, you can't sleep on the yarn, baby. Right. So yes, that is my fingerless gloves, and I'm really enjoying this. I ripped back quite a few times to get the sizing to be exact what I wanted, and I'm really impressed. I like working out things and seeing how things fit and fiddling and understanding things. So yes, really happy with how this came out, and I guess in the next episode the second one will be finished. Very excited about that. I really want a pair for myself, and I also want a pair of mittens, so that has just like a sock tube, I will say, and a toe on the top that is completely closed. I want that as well, but I also want gloves, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do first. we shall see. I'll keep you posted. I am knitting this with a 2.5mm needle, and I think that is it. Fingerless gloves in the making. Very excited about that. Oh baby. And I'll just sit with you on my lap. Are you so scared? Oh, shame. Oh. She's so scared of the thunder. Anyway, so my next project is one that I have been looking forward to for quite a while, and my friend Liani from Independence Yarn Crafts and I are hosting a make along again for the Ranunculus. So this is for the month of May, and the two of us both wanted some long sleeve versions of the Ranunculus, and we decided to do the make along in May. If you're interested to join this make along, there's still lots of time. The Ranunculus is really a very fast project. It's quite the quick knit, so I'm sure you can still do it. And yeah, there's no real time limit. It's not as if you have to be finished at the end of May. It's just the hosting of the make along that ends, and you can still finish your Ranunculus after that. But anyway, so I decided to knit mine in the new El Merino DK yarn that they just brought out this winter. And this is the yarn label for the yarn. It is 100% superwash merino. I don't think it says how many plies it has. No. But it is 100 meters on 50 grams. And I am using the colorway Sage 074. I bought this yarn also from Arthur Bales, and I have to say I hope that this yarn wears very nicely because I love it. So I cast this project on Friday afternoon, and I ripped out the neckband and I started again at Friday evening, and oops. I'm already almost finished with my raglan increases. I do see, if I look at what I see on screen, this color looks a lot more turquoise in the screen. So I hope if I bring it closer that it will be a more true representation of the color. Otherwise I will just try and pop a picture of the yarn on the screen. I really enjoy this pattern, and I'm enjoying this yarn as well. I did wash and block this project already because I saw when washing my swatch that it did grow a little bit, and I wasn't completely sure that the neck is fitting me correctly. But after I washed and blocked it, it is definitely right. So this neckline was sitting on my neck like a cuff on your leg of your sock. And after I blocked it, it's gotten a little bit of, it relaxed a little bit, and it's laying in the right place. So I don't know if you'll be able to see on screen, but I was about at this point when I washed and blocked it, and I can see exactly where I was when I washed and blocked it. It looks like it makes a little bubble where it actually relaxed. But this yarn is just gorgeous. So I'm knitting this Ranunculus on 4.5 US 7 needles, which is not the same as the pattern. The pattern recommends a 6mm needles and a gauge of, I think, 14 stitches. And to be honest, I have no idea what my gauge is really at this point, because my swatch was also giving me troubles, but never mind. According to my swatch, the stitch gauge is about 20 stitches. I think it's 20 stitches, but I don't have enough stocking stitch fabric yet that I can actually measure the gauge of. So I'll have to measure that when I get a little bit further down. But anyway, so what did I do on this ranunculus? Let me think. So I did a long tail cast on. I cast on 70 stitches, and I just fudged the increase amounts or frequency basically to get to the same stitch count after the ribbing was done. And then I omitted the short rows in the front. I just did the short rows in the back, as you can see there, and then the rest I think is all as per the pattern. I did do some detailed notes on my Ravelry page for the changes that I made so far, and I'm more or less knitting this one the same as the amethyst one that I made in the South African hand-dyed Moya 100% cotton yarn. So my second ranunculus. So this is my third ranunculus, and I am planning to maybe redo the first one. I'm not exactly sure because the neckline is bothering me a bit. But anyway, so I am now 2, 4, 6, 7. I did my increases as per the pattern 7 times now, and I know that on my second one I increased until I was in between sizes 3 and 4, but I split my stitches as per size 1, and that gave me the right proportions of sleeves to front of the jersey and the back of the jersey. So anyway, that's a lot of talk about one project, but as you can see, I've enjoyed it so much I couldn't really put it down. I really love this project. So as I said and mentioned, I am going to make long sleeves, so I'm very excited to see how that will come out. I think that's everything for this project. I did mention that it is part of a make-along. I'll put the make-along hashtag on the screen, and you can go check it out on Instagram, and be sure to send us a DM on Instagram for me or Leonie if you want to join us for this make-along. We still do have 2 Google Meet meetups for this month. I'm not exactly sure of the dates, but anyway, if you join the group, we do post all of the meeting dates and information on the group. Right, I think that is it. That is all of the projects that I've been working on for the past little bit. Let's move over to see what's been happening. Last week's video was my 3 tips on how I get my crochet or knitting motivation back if I lost it on a project. I will link it up here for you and link it down below if you maybe missed that and if you're interested. I also released a new pattern, who is my simple shaped cowl light. I will also link the pattern introduction video for you up here and down below if you are interested, and I will also link the pattern down below if you're interested to go check it out on Ravelry or in my Etsy shop or on my online website shop. It is a gorgeous pattern and I really love wearing these shaped cowls. It is designed in such a way that you can wear it around your neck as a normal cowl, And if you are a little bit more cold, you can just pull it up like a hoodie onto your head and it'll keep your ears warm as well. Really, really like this one. It is thundering outside again. Anyway, so if you have noticed that the podcast is a bit late, I did post everywhere about this, but if you maybe missed it, we had a thunderstorm last week, which resulted into power outages and no signal for 48 to 52 hours. So we had the next door neighbor's generator running for 48 hours and it is very noisy. But anyway, so it was very, very funny that the power was restored exactly to the minute in 48 hours. So this generator switches off and my husband and I was like, oh, silence. And it was off for 15 minutes and then we had load shedding for 4.5 hours again. So we had to listen to it for another 4.5 hours before we got a little break. But anyway, power has been restored, the internet is on now and it has been on since. So it only goes out when the power also goes out, but that is normal. We are used to that. I just want to say thank you for understanding, but it was a little bit out of my control and I could not record or upload an episode for Saturday that has just passed. I think we are still going to stick to the normal podcasting schedule. It is just this episode that is going to be now not on schedule. But right, as I mentioned, the Ranunculus make-along is still going for the whole month of May. Please join us if you're interested. It is really fun and we have such a lovely group of people where we encourage each other and we help and give some tips. If somebody wants to try something that somebody else has tried on their Ranunculus, the group is very active in help. It's not busy like messages every 5 minutes, but if somebody asks a question, there is lots of response. And yeah, it's just this little bit of a support group that helps you and keeps you going. So we're really looking forward for you to join us. That is everything that I have for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. If you are new, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you would like to see any more of my content. And I will see you in the next one. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye.